It was supposed to be a day of celebration. Our anniversary had arrived, and I had spent weeks planning it. Dinner reservations, a thoughtful gift, and an evening I hoped would remind us both why we had chosen each other. I had been excited, nervous even, anticipating the laughter, the shared memories, the warmth of being together. She, however, had been distant for weeks. Subtle signs I had tried to ignore, late nights at work, unexplained texts, and vague excuses, finally coalesced into a quiet unease that I could no longer ignore. But I hoped, foolishly, that the anniversary might restore some semblance of connection. Dinner was pleasant at first. We smiled, clinked glasses, exchanged polite compliments. I tried to keep the conversation light, reminiscing about past trips, recalling private jokes, and sharing the quiet intimacy that should have defined our years together. But there was a tension under her laughter, a distance I could not bridge. After dinner, when I suggested we head home for a quiet evening, she hesitated. Her phone buzzed, and she glanced at it quickly, her smile fading. Then she said it, casually, almost too lightly to be true. "I'm going out for a little pleasure. Don't try to stop me." I froze. The words echoed in my mind. Pleasure? Out? On our anniversary? My heart sank, a cold wave of disbelief and betrayal washing over me. "What do you mean?" I asked carefully, trying to mask the fear and hurt threatening to surface. "You heard me," she said, her tone sharp. "And if you interfere, I'll call the police. It's my night, and it's my choice. You have no right to stop me." I couldn't process it at first. The woman I had married, the one I had trusted, laughed with, planned a life with. She was openly declaring she didn't care about our anniversary, our vows, or my feelings. And she was weaponizing the law to intimidate me into silence. I wanted to argue, to beg, to demand an explanation, but I realized it was pointless. There was no reasoning with someone who had made the decision to prioritize their own pleasure, to disregard commitment, and to threaten the partner they supposedly loved. The betrayal wasn't subtle. It was blatant, calculated, and humiliating. So I stayed silent. I didn't follow her. I didn't call. I didn't try to stop her. Instead, I sat alone, letting the weight of the evening settle over me. The candles we had lit, the thoughtful gift I had prepared, the careful planning, it all seemed meaningless now. What mattered was the truth she had revealed. She had no regard for my feelings, our marriage, or the promises we had made. By the time she returned, hours later, disheveled and indifferent, I had already made a decision. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I simply met her eyes, calm, and said, "This is over." Her shock was immediate. She stammered, tried to explain, tried to claim it was temporary, that it wasn't what it looked like. But I had seen enough, felt enough, and endured enough. Her choice had been clear. Her threat, her betrayal, and her disregard had spoken louder than any explanation could. In the weeks that followed, I began to disentangle my life from hers. I moved out quietly, arranged separate finances, and focused on the people and things that valued me. Every message, every call, every reminder of her actions was met with calm, deliberate detachment. I refused to argue, to chase, to plead. I had learned that dignity is preserved not through confrontation, but through measured, decisive action. Eventually, I heard from friends what had happened during that night she had left for pleasure. The details didn't sting anymore. They were irrelevant. What mattered was that I had reclaimed control over my life, refused to be manipulated or intimidated, and recognized the betrayal for what it was. Betrayal is painful, often humiliating, and always jarring. But sometimes, the most powerful response is silence paired with action. Letting someone reveal themselves through their own choices while you quietly remove yourself from harm and disrespect is a strength few understand until they experience it. Looking back, I see that anniversary not as a day of loss, but as a turning point. It revealed her true character and forced me to confront uncomfortable truths. And in confronting them, I found clarity, independence, and the beginnings of a life free from manipulation and betrayal. Years later, I still remember the shock, the threat, and the humiliation. But I also remember the calm decision to prioritize my dignity, the clarity of seeing the truth without anger clouding my judgment, and the quiet liberation that came from refusing to be anyone's victim. The anniversary ended, yes, but a new chapter began, one defined by self-respect, resilience, and the knowledge that betrayal is not an end, it is an awakening.